Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Dwell Well podcast. I'm Heather.
I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Kate. Join us each week when we uncover a new secret of the home industry. When it comes to buying, selling, staging, styling, or organizing your home, nothing is too taboo if it matters to you. On this episode of the Dwell Well podcast, we talk about that fantasy unicorn that is work-life balance. How do we do it? Do we worry about it at all? Come on in, grab a seat and a mimosa. It's time to dwell well. Exactly.
Accurate.
See? You guys can start talking. You can't really see this, so I'm just going to keep playing with it while we talk.
What are you playing with?
I'm trying to figure out. No. Here.
Power Rangers?
Show her that picture.
I'm going to show you. This is the dirty shit that she has coming up on her phone.
This is the weirdest stuff shows up on my Facebook.
Are you Googling?
This showed up on my Facebook this morning, and I was cracking up.
Her Facebook. It's a bunch of fucking Power Ranger vibrators.
What?
It showed up.
Happening?
Look at it. Go Power Ranger.
So what are you looking at? I mean, you got to put that in private mode if you're going to watch porn on your phone.
Oh, my God.
I am pretty sure that.
Okay, you know how to do that. So
you need
obviously
to plug this in, or
happening.
it's going to die before it gets uploaded.
Well, the charger's in my car, so that.
Okay, are we recording?
Yeah, we have been recording this.
Oh, we have.
Time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
We're
so
in it.
it's going, but I don't know if that's probably going to die because your battery's like.
It's the story of my life. I'm out of gas. My phone's dying. My computer's dying. And I have to hang up on you because my kids are. Oh, yeah. Because when I got home yesterday, I walked into a fucking shit show in my house yesterday.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what it was because
Let's talk
it was
about it.
just.
she was just like, do you have anything else important to tell me? Because I need to go. And I was like, bye.
Do you have anything else important?
My fourth grader was at volleyball. And my seventh grader and my bonus seventh grader plus my kindergartner were home. And I walked in to, when I left, the living room was like, there were some like Halloween boxes by the front door because I'm kind of getting stuff ready because Thursdays our school's trunk or treat. And I do a big, like, I'd take a box truck and like make like a whole thing for their trunk or treat. So it's like a whole big deal. And I just had a bunch of stuff delivered for it. So like that was in the living room. Otherwise, the living room was like put together. Like everything, like the pillows were there supposed to be. And everything was just picked up and nice. And I walked into like, fucking shit all over the floor, Legos, TVs on, which we don't do TV on school nights, like it's not allowed. Pillows everywhere. There were some blankets, the window. Like I swear to God, there was like a fucking broom stuck through the glass window or something. I don't fucking know what was going on.
It was the witch that flew in to help
like
decorate.
It lit, yes, and I just walked in and like they were all just sitting there like it was fucking normal. Like we're just cleaning our backpacks and and he's just like. But it literally looked like a bomb went off when I was home 2 or 3 hours earlier, and my house was fine. I mean, it wasn't like perfect. There's like I got little kids, like I don't like, but it was fine.
I feel like it was like a Cat in the Hat moment when the Cat in the Hat didn't come back.
That is my fucking life. That show, that movie.
Where are you, Cat in the Hat?
Yeah, we need you with your
thing 1 and thing 2, and then they come out.
The machine that comes and cleans everything up.
And the dots end up on the wall, and then they end up on the dress, and then
I
they
watched
go in the
a lot
tub.
of PBS when I was with my kids all the time.
I just don't understand how my kids can make such a fucking explosion and sit in the middle of it like it's fine. It's okay.
So this is like the perfect segue to the conversation that I was thinking that we should have right now.
My kids'
in this
ability to like
episode?
blow up my house.
Yes.
Well,
that's what it's called. Rebecca's Kids Suck is the name of the episode.
So you know how we thought about calling the podcast Instagram is bullshit at one point?
Yes.
Because
it's
everything
actually
that you
what
see,
it is called. It's just that nobody knows it. It's written in invisible ink.
It's on the down low.
Yeah.
It's called, am I cool enough to use that?
I wasn't allowed to call it that.
Isn't the down low just when someone's... Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh.
This isn't
I don't
dirty.
know where she was going to go. Okay.
This isn't dirty.
Reel it in.
The whole Instagram
down low is not a dirty thing.
I thought it was like when you just like...
I think we need her to stop.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Heather.
Continue, Heather.
Okay, so the whole
Heather's like our
Instagram is
mom.
bullshit
Have you ever
thing.
noticed that? Like
I know she's like constantly reeling us back.
Heather's like our mom, and we're both just like
that.
squirrel, and she's just like,
This
come
is
on,
why,
guys.
This is why I get interrupted all the time
Bring
because
it in.
my voice to you guys is like the Charlie Brown teacher.
Wah, wah, wah.
This is why I get interrupted all the time. I
But
can't
we
get a
love
word in
you.
edgewise with you people.
We love you.
I'm like the mom on the show.
We love you.
I need a talking stick. You have
The
it.
talking stick. That's right. I need the talking pillow.
Here's a talking stick, but you guys
To
don't
smother us with.
But no. So the whole Instagram is bullshit thing made me think of the fact that I feel like the whole work-life balance thing is bullshit as well.
Agreed.
I can never figure out like, I never sit there and think my life is so balanced.
Oh,
my
I
work
do.
and my life are so balanced.
And your pH.
Okay, somebody just snorted. Which one of y'all was it?
That was her.
That's what I was thinking we should talk about today on this episode of the podcast is
But
there
you're right.
something that you do? Is there like one thing that you feel like you figured out that helps with the work-life balance? Just one thing.
But I don't think there is such a thing as like work-life
There
balance.
isn't, but I'm
It's
saying
kinda
like,
like
is there something that makes you
Maybe
feel
just
better about
some
it?
ideas. Okay,
Yeah.
I have one.
Okay.
I have
a
one.
little misorganized.
No, I truthfully, I can function as an organizer, but my life is kind of a shit show. And I show up late for 95% of everything that I do.
No
Yes.
way.
So,
Yes, you do.
No.
So I
That-
was early today.
no.
Thank you. And I was early by so much time that I now have a grace window for the next time that I show up late.
I don't think that's true.
No,
No,
this is not
however-
that's not a
carryover
thing.
minutes. This is not carryover minutes.
However, I think that there are little things that I feel like I'm succeeding at, like little things
Let me
here
hear
and
'em.
there. Okay. So I will not take a call, or I won't do work business when my kids are in the car.
You are really good about that because you hang up on me when you're in the car with the kids.
Like if it is an absolute, I have to take this call, something is burning down and I cannot do anything. Like if it's a job, if somebody's on a job and I have to do it, I'll do it. But otherwise, if it's anything that can be handled 10 minutes later, I will not take a phone call while I'm in the car with my kids, because that is like my time with them. And I don't even care if they don't talk to me. I will sit there silent and wait for them to talk to me. I will pry it out of them. But so I think that just
I like
those
that though.
those
I like
little
that idea.
things, I think, like I refuse. I'll silence my phone and it'll show up on my car and be like, oh, mom, so-and-so. I'm like, they can wait.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I like that. And you're
So.
telling the kids they can wait. I'm with you right now.
Yeah, that's really good.
I like that.
I mean,
agree.
it's little because
is.
the rest of my life's a shit show. Like I said,
But I feel like car
think-
time is so key. Like it is so important.
Especially
So-
as they get
So
older.
much time in
yeah,
the car.
especially as they get older.
Especially as they get
I have
older.
two 16-year-olds. I have twins. And this past weekend, they wanted to go to the mall. And the mall is too far for me to be comfortable for them to drive. Plus, there was like a group of them. And they can only drive with like one extra person in the car. So I was like, hey, I'll go to the mall. You guys go your way. I'll go mine. We'll spend 3 hours there and I'll have fun and you have fun. And so it was so much fun driving with them in the car because we had like 5, my 2 kids and 5 of, all together, 5 people, 5 of their friends. And we were like listening to the radio and I got to listen to them talk a little bit and chatter in the back. And I just got to be silent and hear them interact. And it was so fun.
That's
So
my
I think
favorite thing when we bring, like, I've done like take the kids rock climbing. Everybody gets to bring a friend. It's one of the reasons I bought the car I have because I want an 8-seater because
me too.
I
Same.
like everybody bring a friend, and it is so fun to see them interacting and playing. Like I will bring the snack bucket. I'll load up all the feral children of the neighborhood and just
feral children.
feed them and take them where I love it though. Like I love seeing them all together and
Yeah.
playing and like more.
It's the best.
I think it's one of the best things you can do with them because again, like I'd rather the kids be with me than
Yeah.
someone else and you don't know.
I
where
will
and
say
what.
though, sometimes I'm
me.
like, everybody always spends the night at my house because I always say yes, basically,
Yeah.
to anybody spending the night. But sometimes I'm like, can you not go somewhere else for like one night? I mean, come on, like, can someone host you, please? It always has to be at my house. But no, I mean,
True.
90%
But you
of the
want
time,
both
I'm-
of them to go at the same time though.
yeah, well, that would be ideal. But 90% of the time, I'm great
And
with
your
it. But
husband
this
too,
is
so
like
you can have the whole house to
oh
yourself.
my god, seriously,
That would be amazing. The
I'm
whole
so-
house.
I have a
I get the
friend
house to
quiet,
myself
all
this
by
weekend.
yourself.
the whole weekend.
Whole weekend. Because the girls will be a Slade and Cass and Blaine are doing a special daddy son weekend.
That is
Friday to
my dream weekend, and I love my family. Don't get me wrong, but a
You can't come to
dream
my house this weekend.
weekend. No, I would lock my doors. I would shut my curtains,
am.
and I'd be like, I am doing whatever the
I-
fuck
like,
I want
I
all
am-
weekend.
I am.
Do you know what I would love is for somebody to buy me a bougie hotel room for a night and just let me
Oh
go by
my
myself.
God. Yes.
Why don't you buy yourself a bougie hotel room?
Because who would take care of all the things in my life?
Mark can handle it. I have faith in him.
It from Omaha?
Sure. Or how about you wait till he's home?
When does that happen?
I don't know, but make it happen.
Okay, so
Okay.
what's your one thing about the balance thing? Like, what's one thing that you feel like I'm a good mom because I do this?
It's not
That's really
good.
quiet.
You have tons of things. Think of something because I can give you things that you do. So
I mean, but here's the problem is like, because I overschedule myself. I've had 3 kids and they're all involved in stuff. And I'll say this, like, I am very, very, very involved with, as much as I have a career and run this, and like my business
Mhm.
isn't just like a side business for the house. Like this is our
Bread and butter,
livelihood.
yeah.
Right. I'm very, like, I take them to school and pick them up most days, and I am in the PTAs, and I was on a field trip yesterday on top of doing all the stages, and like I'm very involved with them, and I will say that I'm feeling the fruits of my labor. Is that how you say that?
Yes.
Because
I like it.
as
Fruits of
much as
labor.
my almost
Fruits
Is
of
it-
my loins.
oh, is that from that movie?
no.
Oh.
You took this and turned it into something dirty, as you do. So
As you do.
Okay.
As you do.
But like my almost 13-year-old, as much as she pretends she thinks I'm not cool and she rolls her eyes at me and we do butt heads because she is a copy and paste of me, like
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
have
she
one of
is
those too.
snarky and salty and all the things, but she talks to me so much.
Yeah.
And like her little best friends all talk to me, and like her best friend comes to me with shit and tells me who she's dating, and like not who Maddie's, but her, you know, like. And I do think and I've said to them, I'm like, I don't care if you don't want me here. I'm fucking here. I always tell them, I'm like, God, whether you want it or not, I'm fucking here. Like, this is it. And like, I do really.
Oh my God, she's got a God complex.
yeah.
Now we
I
know.
knew that. I've known that for a
Now we
while.
But I do think that what my over involvement on them and like being super engaged, and I've got ex-husbands and all that tell me that I'm like too much.
Ex-husbands.
I said ex-husband and husbands.
Oh.
Oh.
I see how many I
Okay.
can get. Like they say that I'm too involved, or I caught like. I think that I'm starting to get the benefit of it with Maddie because I'm not, because she does talk to me about everything.
Yeah.
And comes to me with all the things and
Yeah.
like laughs at my silliness and like,
Yeah.
tells me about her boyfriend and all those things. Like I never talked about to my mom about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Not
Not at all.
Not
Not at all.
And I'm not faulting my mom for anything. Don't hear
No,
me say that.
no.
But it just wasn't
It's just
the
different.
relationship.
It was like
A
kind of a different
era.
time too.
It was.
Yeah.
A different
just-
era.
I talked to my mom about a lot. There were things though that were not. I mean, you could only talk about so much.
Did your mom work?
Yes,
What did she do?
she was an insurance agent. She had
Okay.
her own agency.
Yeah.
But yes, so my dad was an airline pilot forever and ever and ever. So
Mhm.
we had this like on again, off again. Like he was gone, kind of like Mark. Like he would have flights all the time. So he would be home for 2 days, gone for 2 days, kind of a thing.
Isn't that interesting how
Yeah.
we recreate our
Yeah.
what we grew up in, whether
Exactly.
we want to or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah,
I mean, that's what
it's
we all
just-
do it, and it's kind of annoying, but it's kind of fascinating at the same time.
Yeah,
I
you
feel like
just
we-
kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've that's how I grew up, and that's how it is now.
Mhm.
And I mean, it is what it is. Now I have a lot more on my plate as far as the extra things like kids and pets and all the stuff
Well,
that
because
my
you were an
mom
only
did.
child.
I was an only child. We had
It
one.
shows. I'm kidding.
We had one dog, and that was it. Like she had the 2 of us to
Right.
keep up with.
Yeah.
But she did work full time, more than full time, and she was also super involved. Like
Yeah.
she made sure she
Mhm.
was always at all the field trips. She was
Class
even-
parties and like,
yes,
all the
even up
things.
through high school was always involved in helping with like anything that needed help with that I was involved in. She was
Yeah.
involved in.
And I love that. Like I love being
Yeah.
a part of the school
For
and
sure.
like doing PTA.
I feel like I have a better. I took the first year that my kids went to public school because this is only their 3rd year in public school.
I
I took
that.
the first year and I dialed way back with my oldest because I was like just letting him like fly, be your own
Spread his
person,
wings.
spread your whatever. And I
Spread his wings, nothing else.
Yes, and I regretted it because I had no idea what was going on. And he
Yeah.
would try to talk to me about stuff and I had no frame of reference.
Yeah.
And so 8th grade I decided to go and become part of the PTA because I'm like I need to find a connection into the school somehow.
Mhm.
And that's the best way to do
And
it.
It is.
it
yeah,
was
I agree.
Fabulous. It was the best group of people. This year hasn't been quite so fabulous being in high school, but anyway,
Yeah.
we
High
have
school's a
plans.
different- Yeah, high school's weird.
We're going to overthrow the government, so it's
Oh.
fine.
Ooh, I'll help.
Oh,
But
a
it's-
mutiny.
You got to move to Rockwall.
Oh, fuck that.
I know. So anyway, but yeah, I found that was like huge because I was in the office once a month at least, helping out with things in the library, helping out with events and stuff. And all of a sudden I knew people and I knew what was going on. And when he could say like, oh, and we did this in this room and so did this. And I was just like, oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
And
you know
I
the
think
teacher, you know the people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
knowing
it
the
really
teachers who are
helped.
educating your kids is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah.
part of what I do in the PT, this is super cheesy, but like I purposely make sure that I'm on the hospitality chair.
Well, you'd be
whatever.
good at that.
Yeah,
I am
because-
not good at that.
Because one of the main things we do is like we take care of the teachers. I'm like, I will fucking
Yeah.
muffins, coffee makers,
Yeah.
events, mixers, like anything. Because then the teachers love me, and if they love the parents, they love the kids better.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree with that totally.
I'm
Yeah.
all about that.
Yeah.
I was super involved in PTA when my kids were little.
So what do you think you do, Heather? Like, what's the thing that really helps?
I think the thing that I do and have done for a long, long time is like I purposefully do not multitask when my kids are around. Like if my kids are in need of attention for something, if they need help with their homework or they're telling me something, having a conversation, they've asked me to do something or whatever, I might say, okay, let me finish this email real quick. And then like I'm yours. Like I'm not going to try to do like looking at my phone or doing email
I
or
need to
phone
do
conversations.
this.
Like I separate
Mm-hmm.
very well, I think. When they need my attention, I'm not giving attention to work. Kind of like what you said about being in the car
Yeah.
specifically, but I feel like I'm not in the car as much with them anymore. So now
Mm-hmm.
I find myself doing that a lot, like, between like 4 and 6 when we, before we have dinner and things like that. Because that's, when they get home from school, they need their own little time for a
Yeah.
minute because sensory overload and 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
But then, if like yesterday, my daughter was like, come in here and watch this show with me or whatever. It was like 4:00. And I was like, okay, specifically, let me just give me 5 minutes to finish what I'm doing, and then I'm gonna come in and watch this with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not gonna have that in a couple of years. She's gonna be out of the house.
Yep.
She's 16. And them wanting me
Yeah.
and my attention is so, so important right now that it doesn't deserve to be divided by work.
Yes.
So
I read this. I don't know. I heard it. I don't know if I read it or heard it, but it was someone talking about the whole idea of like your kids and raising them up, and like you want to raise them up to be these strong, independent, good, all the characteristics you want your kids to be, but then you want to raise them to want to come back home because
Mhm.
after they go off and they're 18 and they go to college and they start building their lives, like they then have the choice
Yeah.
if how much of your family they want to be. And like
Yeah.
I want my kids to want to come have dinner at my house every Sunday when they're adults. I want them to, bring
I
everything.
don't want him to come every Sunday.
Right, maybe not every Sunday, but you know what I mean? Like, I want,
two Sundays a month. That's
Yeah,
good.
that
at some
sounds
point, your
good.
kids will get to choose to be your family, really. I mean,
Well, they kind of choose to be your family, choose to be your friends, kind of
Friends.
thing
Like,
as they get older.
They
yeah.
choose their
They wanna-
involvement level.
they choose their
Mhm.
involvement.
Yes.
And, like, I want my kids to want, not like, oh, we have to go to mom's. Like,
Right.
I want them to want to come back.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is, like, building that really solid, I mean, you're going to crack skulls with your kids through the teen years, right? Like,
Oh God,
I
believe
mean, Maddie
me.
and I already are, like, we have our moments.
I will tell you one other thing that I feel like I do well. Since I have
Let's
multiple
hear
things
it.
because I'm the best mom. No,
I
one
mean,
of the
you
other
do it
things-
well with us. So
You try.
I
Thanks,
try.
Jen.
I try to reel you back in. I try to say yes as much as I possibly can. That's the other because
Have
when
y'all
I
ever
say
done
no,
a yes day?
no.
no,
Oh, my kids, we did one. It was a disaster. They want to do another one.
I don't know what that is.
Where you're like,
You say
literally,
yes to everything.
uh-huh. But I mean,
So-
you can put rules around it. There's a movie
Yeah.
about it. It's fucking stupid. What's her face? Did it.
Uh-huh.
What's her face?
Stupid. What's her
Oh.
face? Jennifer Garner.
Yeah. Fuck her. Okay, finish your story.
Really? You don't like Jennifer Garner?
I feel like-
because she made that movie.
Okay.
'Cause
I
it's
was
a
like, I
thing.
like her. I think she's cute. She
No.
should come on the show.
Hey,
She's Dr.
Jennifer
Stone.
Garner.
Bring
super
her with you.
cute, but she made that
Um,
movie.
But I feel like the more you say yes, then your no's really count. When you're like, no, you can't do that. Like I've had pushback from my kids. Like I said earlier, there's a rule that's like a law that they can only have one other person in their car besides like a sibling. So my 2 kids, 16, they can go in the car together with another friend of theirs. So there could be 3 people in the car together. But they're at least once every couple weeks, they'll say, well, can we just do this? Can we just go there? Can we just go there? Like with extra people in the car. And I'm like, no,
Oh.
no, you cannot. Like that's a hard and fast rule. But if I say yes to everything else, then hopefully they listen when I actually do say
like
no about something.
I like that though.
So.
My rule is I just say no to everything so they stop asking.
That's another tactic. Hey,
I mean, hey.
that's what I love about our podcast. We give all kinds of little choices.
You can look at it.
Make
Mom
good
can
choices.
no.
Hey.
Okay.
You're full of shit, Aya, because you don't do that.
Yes, I do.
But I always feel like I'm constantly saying no, and like it's like a guilt for me because I feel like I have to say. I mean, my kids, they really don't want for much, right? But like I feel like I'm constantly having to say no. I'm like, why do y'all have to keep fucking asking me for shit? Because I have to keep saying no. No, you can't have a cupcake for breakfast. No, you can't climb on the roof. Whatever. Like, ask me for reasonable
They
things.
could have a cupcake for breakfast like on Fridays. That could be a thing.
No, I'm
Why?
not, because I'm
Why
not
not?
sending them to school all hopped up on sugar like they just
Why?
fucking
They're
snort
going to
cocaine.
school.
Yeah, let them. Yeah,
I'm
let
not doing that to
teacher
the
deal with it.
teachers. I'm not dealing with
I
it.
would totally do that.
Totally.
I would much rather them have it on
So
Friday
Rockwall
than
teachers,
Saturday.
so sorry that you have those kids.
Yeah, that's true. My kids are pretty good. Grady's had his moments.
My kids are very
this
good
year
at
though,
school.
he's good. Sadie is something, but she's endearing, and so most of them pretty.
She kind of
My
gets away
kids are
with it 'cause of
very
that
good
and-
at school.
Charm.
She can charm her way out of a paper bag,
Yeah.
and just she knows boundaries, and she knows how to be like just enough, and
That's
then
how Maddie is. She knows
rein
how
it
far
in.
she can push it with each teacher. She had one teacher in elementary. It was the art teacher, and man, he did not like her. And she would like, because a lot of the teachers thought her like little sarcastic 5th grade attitude was funny because like she's really well behaved and works hard and she's kind to all the things, but she has this real sarcastic, and most of the teachers would think it's funny. And this art teacher was not fucking having it, and so like they'd butt heads. I'm like,
Yeah.
you have to learn when to like not have these jokes or not say things like.
Well, I think that's one thing that's been really interesting to me about like raising kids is I'm fascinated by the people who don't like my kids. Like,
I
it's kind
know.
of fascinating. I'm
Don't you want to like kick him in the
You
kneecap?
don't like my child? Like, what is it? Like,
Wait,
what-
have you really met people that tell you they don't like your
No,
kids?
no, but you can tell. Like what you just said about the art teacher. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell.
No, he like
My-
threw away her
my
art
kids-
projects.
My kids have both had
That's
like
my
personality.
job, not your job,
yeah, he's
buddy.
an asshole of a teacher though, to be real honest.
Yeah,
I don't like him. That's
my
bullshit.
job
Well,
is
that
to
may
throw it
be.
away before it comes into my house.
We have so much art in our house; it's ridiculous.
No, I hear you.
I think it's fascinating.
I'm
I
the
mean,
same way.
I'm sort of interested in it. Like,
I don't
what
know
is
that
it?
I know anybody that doesn't like my kids, and it's probably because I have blinders.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people that I know some of like the conflicts they have within their peers, but like I don't know that I could be like, oh yeah, I could tell that adult really doesn't like my kids.
Oh, I think
Oh,
there's a
I
lot
can
of
tell.
adults that don't like my kids.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
And
How?
both of my kids have had personality conflicts like with their teachers over the years.
I don't even
That I
mean
have
teachers.
no
I mean
no.
like other parents.
We're not talking about you.
I mean like other parents of like friends or
Well, think about
other-
it. There's kids that you don't like. There's
Oh,
kids I
yeah,
don't
there's
like.
lots of
So
kids I
there's
don't like.
gonna like
Yeah.
There's lots of kids I don't like.
yeah. There's lots of kids that are little assholes out there. I mean, I'm just
There
let's
are
be
a
honest.
lot of little asshole
There
kids
are.
out there.
There are.
I think there's just a lot of assholes out there.
Like,
yeah,
here's
but
an
then
example.
I'm not
the
just
little
talking
assholes
kids.
get raised into
I'm
big
talking
assholes.
like all of them. There's a lot of them.
Right. So example. So right after our fall break, we lost our dog over fall. Right. So our fall break. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Our Rudy, and that was Maddie's dog. Like we got him right. Honestly, right. Like right before she found out that her dad and I were splitting and all that. So like that was her dude. He got hit by a car. Super traumatic. A week later, she's going to school and like the teacher's like, "Oh, what everybody do over fall break?" And some kids like, "Oh, we were in a car and we ran over a dog. It was so funny," and starts laughing about it. And Maddie did I can't imagine how hard it was for her. She, as she says, sucked up the tears. Like, it was everything for her to, like, get through the day and come home. And then, of course, that was the same day, like, Rudy's little, like, cremation stuff came back. So she, like, fell.
But that's not okay.
No. So
Like,
my
that's a
point,
problem.
That's fucking, like, sociopath. Like, you
That's-
think it's funny that you hit someone's dog?
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
If I
that-
were a parent and heard that my child did that, I would be disturbed.
I would be really, really concerned.
yeah.
But the parents are probably fucked up, and that's where the kid learned it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
the assholes, the little tiny assholes are coming from the big assholes.
I will say though
It's like
that
China
I've
dolls.
known. Huh?
Like, what?
Like China dolls, like those Russian
Oh, the
dolls. It's like
Russian-
the little tiny,
Russian-
the little
not
tiny
China dolls.
asshole. Yeah, the little tiny assholes inside of a
Do
bigger
you have
asshole
assholes
inside
in
of a
your
bigger
coffee?
asshole. Yeah,
I will say
there
though that
wasn't a hole.
I have known
Just
some
a butt.
parents that seem to be so nice, but their kids are assholes, and I'm like, what is happening in your house?
Something's
that-
happening.
Something is
outside.
behind the.
Yeah.
Something's happening at home.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, truly though, I mean, kids are their own people.
They
I mean,
are.
maybe they're getting in, and maybe they're being influenced by something besides
Besides
their
the
family
parents.
life. Okay, there's something else
Something
going
else
on.
is happening.
Example.
Besides,
My middle one has a little friend. We've been friends for years. They're kind of like two peas in a pod. So sometimes they like. And recently they had a conflict, and friends said some things that were like super not nice to Brinley. Really upset her. Like made a comment about her dyslexia, whatever. not in not in character for this little girl. And like, come to find out, like, we think that she's getting some shit from other kids at school. And I'm like, the reality is this isn't our friend. This is her like
No.
lashing out because she's hurt. I'm like, if we all pour into her and defend her from this other toxicity, I guess,
Yeah.
we're going to get her back to this. Like, that's not her. That was her lashing out.
It's so funny that you say that though, because I would be like, she's dead to me.
Well, that's but
I'm like that little
Yes.
that, because to me, if
that wasn't
if you say
her, and I
I know,
know
but
that.
but to me, I've always thought like if you say something in anger, like that's almost like in vino veritas, like that's who you really are when it just comes out.
No,
like
'cause,
when
like,
you're
I've been
angry.
No, because I've been at points in my
So-
life where I was miserable in my
I
life,
wouldn't
and
have
I was
anyone
a
that
bitch.
would like me if that was the case, because I say a lot of mean things.
You would have zero friends.
Yeah.
But when you're
I don't think I play dirty when I get mad.
But
I
when you're in
don't.
a really ugly place, like you project that. The
Yeah.
ghosts, like pick up on what's around you.
Yeah, remember we talked earlier, the ghosts, they pick it up.
Yeah,
But, like,
I don't know.
My sister even told me, like, after my divorce from my first husband, she had said, she's like, I didn't like you then. I didn't want to talk to you. Like, you were miserable because
Yeah,
I was
you're a
so
miserable person,
unhappy
yeah.
myself,
Sure.
and I was
No, I get that.
projecting it ever. So
Yeah.
our little friend has had some shit happen to her at school, and she was lashing out at a safe person, just like our kids lash out at us because we're safe.
Yeah.
She was lashing out at her little bestie because she's safe.
Yeah,
And I
I
was
can
like-
see that. That's very generous of you. I will say that
I'm a very
my
generous person.
See, there's another good thing that you
you're
do.
very
Aw.
generous. I will say my
I
daughter
make
has
really
told
good zucchini bread too.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I love zucchini
I'm ready.
bread.
What were you gonna say? Your daughter?
My daughter has told me that she wishes sometimes she hadn't told me certain things about what her friends have done to her because that is how I am. I'm
You
like,
hold
if
it
you hurt
against
my
them.
child,
Mhm.
you are so dead to me.
I'm the same
You are
way.
never coming to my house.
Yep.
You are not invited to anything. Like, I got really mad at my daughter
Yep.
last Valentine's Day because she invited a little girl that was super mean to her back in like 7th grade. Like, this girl was brutal to her and did some stuff to her online.
Yep.
And I about lost my mind.
Mhm.
I didn't do anything about it, but I was so angry about it. And so now she was like in 10th grade last year, and she invited her over with another group of friends for this Valentine's party thing. And I was like, why is she in my house? She is not invited into my house.
But people can make mistakes.
No. Not
Oh.
related to my child. Nope.
I
You're
mean,
dead
and
to me.
I'm big mama bear. Like, I'm the
Oh.
defender of things, but like some people just make a mistake.
I'm bad about holding grudges.
I
Like,
think it's
I admit
different.
that.
My sister and my mom are like that. I can't do it.
I think
totally
it's
am.
different by how they act after they make the mistake.
True.
I think if they make a mistake and they kind of immediately realize that they made a mistake
Yeah,
and they're very
immediately.
apologetic
Yes.
and they're very like, I am so sorry that did not come across the way that I wanted it to come across. I wasn't intending
Yeah,
that.
if there's
or
an
I was
immediate
having
reaction,
a really bad
I would.
day.
Yeah.
Or I'm dealing with some stuff at school. And I mean, littles,
but
7,
she
8
she
years
was
old.
like, she went home and she was like sick to herself. Because
Yes.
I talked to her mom because her mom and I are good friends. I called her. I was like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, oh my gosh, this explains. Like,
I
she doesn't
think
want to
you're
get
right,
out
though.
of
The
bed.
But, I mean,
immediacy is
yeah.
different. Not
Understanding that you did
having
something
it-
wrong and
yeah.
apologizing and reaching out. Like, I am absolutely all for like, got it, we're good. I get
Move
it.
on.
Apology accepted. No
Kind
problem.
of like my
Let's
comment
move
about
on.
your floors.
Yes, we're still friends. Maybe. So you think. But I mean, you I think I can do that. But if it's
A repeat offender.
or if it's seemingly
Ongoing.
intentional
Yeah, yeah.
and
I'll
it's
agree
like,
with that.
oh, I didn't do anything wrong, or oh, my kid didn't do anything wrong. Like we've had a couple
Yeah.
through our
Mhm.
years where the kids have done some real ugly things to my kids. And they don't see it as wrong. They're not corrected. They don't apologize. And
Maddie
then
has
all
one
of
of
a
those.
sudden, like it's like, she's done. This is not a friendship that I will ever support again.
Exactly.
You know, and then
And Maddie has one of those. Like, and it started in 3rd grade, and
Mhm.
and it's a smaller community. We don't make eye contact. We don't interact. We
Yeah.
don't.
Don't be rude.
You don't get to be ugly or rude.
Don't be rude.
You don't get
but
to start anything.
Don't
you can
get involved.
You can shut shit down.
Yeah.
Maddie was
Mhm.
trying to coach Blaine on how to deal with fights, and like Blaine was like, "Well, I tell the teacher if someone hits me." She's like, "No, someone hits you, you hit back." He goes, "Okay, I'll punch in the stomach." I'm like, "Okay,
God.
this is no, hold on," because now he's gonna like go wail on some kid for like. I was like, "Okay, we don't start the fights. We finish them, but we don't start them."
Well, exactly. She didn't tell him to start it.
start
She
it.
told
He's
him to
5. He
finish
is
it.
not. He does not have frontal lobe connection to really process what was
No
being
men
said to him.
do, but they
No.
they
No
figure
men
it out
do.
anyway.
Not at 5.
So,
They don't.
Okay, so are we good?
What do you think?
I don't know. We're
I
never
think-
going to be balanced. So
I don't.
That's
I
the
think we
bottom
focus
line.
a lot on
But
the kid thing. Like the work-life balance, I think is a joke. Like
it is. I agree.
every day is so hectic and different. Like I get to the end of the week, I'm like, how the fuck did I get through all of that? Oh wait, it's 10 o'clock on Sunday. I gotta fucking start all over on Monday.
I think that
I mean, I love it.
I'm in
but-
a good place today, so I'll
Oh.
speak from like a
A zen.
yes. So I started listening to morning meditations, morning mindset
Ooh.
when I walk my dogs. I've only been doing it for a couple
Do you
days,
walk
but
like this?
I walk like this. But
She's a speed walker. You
but
need them all.
but I don't know, just trying to find something to start my day a little better because I've been very like moody, broody lately.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that if you find the things that you do well and you hang on to those and you really like, I like this. I like that we did this because I think if you can find those things and really applaud yourself for them,
Yeah.
and the more things you can find to be like grateful for and find that, oh, I actually do this well, the more you want to do other things well. Like, I think that number one, I have always valued both of you because of your ability to run your businesses and be super involved in your kids' lives. Like,
Thank you.
to me, and I know
That's
that
so
it doesn't,
nice.
I know it doesn't always
Yeah.
seem like it because when you're in the trenches and you're like in deep, it doesn't feel like you're just like
you feel like you're fucking everything up.
all these things that you're missing.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you look at it as an outsider's perspective, it's like you're continuing to run successful businesses well, while continuing to be super involved with your kids and be at all the things that they want you at. And I know
Yeah.
we all feel like we're like drowning,
Yeah.
but from an outsider's perspective, it doesn't look like it. So, I mean, truly, I think that the balance is there. It
Yeah.
just doesn't look like what you think it should look like.
Which is the same as Instagram is bullshit because it doesn't look like
Exactly.
what you think it should look like.
Yes.
And not how we present it to the
Yes.
world. Yeah.
Like, not everyone looks
Thank
like
you so
a
much.
fake.
That was like
Barbie
probably one of the
house.
better compliments I've had in
Yeah.
a long time.
I like that.
I mean,
Thank you.
it's true though. So I
Thank
think it's something to try to dial back from and look at it from like a more broad perspective and be like, yes, there are little things that are dropping. There are balls that are dropping. There's balls.
Oh God.
There's
Here we go. We couldn't go a whole episode without some kind of
There are little things.
innuendo.
There are little things here and there, and that's what we like hyperfixate on. Is
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the little things.
And
Yeah.
we are always our own worst critic.
Yeah.
Like
100%. Yes.
Monday nights are really hard because I coach Maddie's volleyball and it's a late practice and Brinley hates that I'm not home for bedtime because bedtime for Brinley it's a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been carrying so much guilt through this whole volleyball season, but I'm like, it's one night and she's got to be able to do this and like
Absolutely.
all the things.
Yeah.
And
You're giving to your other child at the same time.
Right.
And the bottom line too, there is, even if you were doing something for yourself once a week,
What the
and you
fuck is
weren't
that?
and you weren't
Yeah,
home,
exactly.
and you weren't home to put a. I remember when the kids were little and I wasn't working. I didn't get licensed as a realtor until they were 4, and so I was like, putting them to bed. Well, I got involved in my neighborhood bunco group. So literally once a month, I was at this neighborhood bunco group until like 9:30 at night, and I wasn't there to put my kids to bed. And from my daughter's perspective, you would have thought that she was like being murdered.
Uh-huh.
She was like,
You have to
"Oh
disclose
my
that when you sell your
God."
house.
Yeah, right.
My daughter was almost murdered
My daughter
in this
was almost
house.
murdered in this house
By my
once
bunco
a month
habit.
by my bunko habit. Yeah, but I mean, but you carry that mom guilt, but it's like literally
Mom
once a
guilt-
month.
mom
oh my
guilt
God.
is fucking brutal.
It's so brutal.
and
So
your kids will like
So back to what you were saying, like if we can concentrate on sort of one or two things that we actually
small
do really well, the
accomplishments.
Yeah.
small accomplishments, the small celebrations, like give yourself some grace, right? Like
Well,
that's what
and
we
it
have
helps
to,
to
do.
see it from an outsider's perspective sometimes too.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I think you see things so much with blinders on, just your view, that when you talk to other people and you can see like somebody saying like, oh, I don't feel that way at all. Like I feel like you're super dialed in with your kids, or I feel like you're always at this, or you're always making time for this. Like it helps.
Yeah.
So
100%,
if
I
you
agree.
have a friend that is struggling, just like find them and tell
Fi-
them something good.
Yeah.
give
give them some
compliments.
props. Yeah,
You see some woman walking down the street and you think her purse is pretty, tell her.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Like she could be having the shittiest day
Yes.
and that might just turn it around for her.
I
Give people
agree.
compliments even if you don't know them. I
Well,
tell my
yeah,
kids to do that.
exactly. And
agree.
it's not, and it doesn't just benefit her. It benefits you because you feel better about yourself.
And
that
karma
you've-
is real. Like put it
Yeah.
out there. Good karma.
So
Okay.
good karma.
I
That
love
was
it.
fun. It
I
was a
love
good
it.
one. I like
Yeah.
it.
Love it. Love it.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Dwell Well podcast. We'd love to hear from you. You can submit your write-ins at www.dwellwellpodcast.com. We can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you next week.